Welcome back to J-Force English. I'm Jennifer, and today you're going to learn the 10 most common C1 adjectives to help you express your ideas fluently and professionally. And at the end, I'm going to quiz you to make sure you really know these adjectives. Let's get started. The vocabulary you're going to learn in this video is at the C1 level. The C1 level is an advanced level of English proficiency. Students at this level are expected to have a wide range of vocabulary and use complex language structures. And remember, this video is focused on adjectives. An adjective modifies a noun or a pronoun. It provides additional information about the noun or the pronoun, such as the size, color, shape, quantity, or quality. Ultimately, adjectives help make the sentence more descriptive and interesting, and they'll help you sound very fluent and advanced in English. So let's get started with the 10 most common C1 adjectives. Ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. This means present, found, or appearing everywhere. For example, smartphones are ubiquitous devices. They're found everywhere. They're found in every home, every office. So we can say smartphones are ubiquitous devices in every home and office. Paramount. Paramount. When something is paramount, it means it's more important than anything else. In emergency situations, the safety of the passengers is paramount to the airline crew. So you know the safety of the passengers is important to the airline crew, but by including the adjective paramount, you know it's more important than anything else. So the safety of the passengers is more important than protecting the actual airplane. The safety of the passengers is paramount. Vast. Vast. This means a very great extent or quantity. So when I hear vast, I know that the extent is very great. For example, the Sahara Desert is a vast expanse of sand dunes. So of course I know there are sand dunes in the desert. I know there are many sand dunes. But when I hear vast, the image I have in my mind all of a sudden changes, and I see sand dune after sand dune after sand dune because it's vast. Profound. Profound. This means having deep insight or understanding. For example, the professor's lecture on quantum mechanics was profound. By using this adjective, I understand that the person saying this learned a lot of very deep insights or now has a very deep understanding of the topic because it was profound. Pervasive. Pervasive. This means spreading widely throughout a group or an area. Remember, we talked about how smartphones are ubiquitous. They appear everywhere. Well, as a result, we can say that social media is a pervasive part of modern society. Because smartphones are ubiquitous and social media, like the J-Force English YouTube channel, is now everywhere as well. So it's pervasive. It is spread widely and spread quickly within society. Inherent. Inherent. This means existing in something as a permanent or inseparable quality or element. For example, cats have an inherent ability to land on their feet when they fall. Have you heard that before? That when a cat falls, it always lands on its feet. Well, this is an inherent quality. It's permanent within the cat. It's not separable from the cat. The cat didn't learn how to do this. It's just an inherent quality. Inquisitive. Inquisitive. This means showing a strong curiosity or willingness to learn. For example, my daughter was very inquisitive when we were at the museum. Generally, someone displays being inquisitive by asking a lot of questions. So if you're at the museum with a young child or even an adult, and they ask a lot of questions about what they're seeing. They could also be inquisitive by wanting to read all of the signs and the posters and the information about the objects that they're looking at the museum. In my opinion, being inquisitive is a very beneficial quality when you're learning, especially when you're learning a language. I love when my students ask questions, when they're inquisitive, because it shows they're really trying to understand. And when you ask questions and you get those answers, you're able to form those connections in your brain and learn faster as well. So hopefully you are inquisitive when it comes to the English language. Fickle. Fickle. That's fun to say. Fickle. This means changing frequently, especially in one's loyalties, interests, or affections. For example, the fashion industry is known for its fickle trends. Trends in the fashion industry change very quickly, very frequently. One day, it could be very fashionable to wear a sweater like this, and then next week, they say that is the ugliest sweater ever and you shouldn't wear it. So they're very fickle about what's trendy and what's not trendy. The fashion industry could also be fickle about which designers they promote and support. Maybe one day this person is the designer that everyone's talking about, but then next week nobody's talking about that person and there's a totally new designer. So the fashion industry and many other industries is very fickle. Intrinsic. Intrinsic. This means belonging naturally, and therefore it's an essential part. For example, an intrinsic motivation to succeed drives some athletes to push their limits. So they're not motivated by winning a trophy because that's an external motivation. The trophy is outside of them. They're motivated by something within, an intrinsic motivation. And just like I said that being inquisitive is important when you're learning a language, so is having an intrinsic motivation. If you're only motivated to study to pass the IELTS, well, that's an external motivation. And although it's great to have that motivation, generally it's not enough. Generally, we also need an intrinsic motivation to really push ourselves and succeed our full potential. Eminent. Eminent. This means famous and respected within a specific profession or field. For example, she was awarded a prize for her eminent contributions to the field. The field being the area of her profession. So if she is a quantum mechanic, then that is her field. Quantum mechanics is her field. If she is a physicist, then that is her field, her area of study, interest, or profession. And here it said her eminent contributions. So it's implying that her contributions are famous or respected within that particular field, whether it be quantum mechanics or physics. Now you have the top 10 adjectives added to your vocabulary, but how well do you really know these adjectives? Let's find out with a quiz. Here are the questions. Hit pause, take as much time as you need, and when you're ready, hit play. So how'd you do with that quiz? Well, let's find out. Here are the answers. Hit pause, review them, take as much time as you need, and when you're ready to continue, hit play. So how'd you do with that quiz? Make sure you share your score in the comments and also share your favorite adjective from the list. It's hard to choose, but I would probably say for me, it's fickle, because that is really fun to say. Fickle, fickle, I like that one. What about you? Share it in the comments and try an example sentence using your favorite adjective. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And why don't you get started with your next video right now?